Welcome back to the Dolor Factor. Darren, everyone follows you, not just St. Lucians, the Caribbean, international, the world. And I've even been told, and you verified for me, that sometimes when people say St. Lucia, they automatically say Darren Sammy. Or they say Darren Sammy, you automatically think St. Lucia. You have placed the island and yourself on the map by doing something that you really love. We have seen your rise to where you are more proficiently over the last maybe 8 years, but it hasn't been like that. It has always been your passion. It has always been part of you. Where did that passion begin? Can you remember?
Yes, I think when I grew up, cricket was the #1 sport. I still think it is the #1 sport in the Caribbean, but, watching West Indies play, it was just the most amazing thing. The joy when West Indies performed, it brought to the Caribbean. And my dad is a massive cricket follower. So from early as I can recall, I had a passion to play cricket. And when you have that sort of passion, it comes with a drive as well. And as far back as I can remember, I wanted to play for West Indies, and that passion all throughout those years, was my driving force. And thank God for blessing me with that talent. That here I am. I'm still enjoying what I dreamt of doing as a little boy.
Mm-hmm. But would you say you've had support, along the way, from the time you said, right, I'm going to be doing this professionally, or I'm aiming to do this professionally?
Yeah, I've had different forms of support. At first my parents were, when my mom wasn't behind the cricket story, we grew up in an Adventist background, so cricket on Saturdays became very difficult. But once she realized that is what I wanted to do, and no matter how she tried to stop me, that is what I wanted to do. Then I had that support from my parents, my peers, and when later on in my career, under 15, under 19 cricket, when guys like Dr. Hilaire, Trevor Phillip, St. Lucia government, Dr. Michel, Mario Michel was Minister of Youth and Sports at that time. The late Desmond Skit, all these guys contributed financially, in that they got me to England, St. Lucia Tourist Board and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, they sponsored my weekly allowance whilst I was at Lord's, which I thought was the turning point of my career. Lord's is a ground where most cricketers want to play. They dream of playing.
Oh yeah, that's what we think of the Lords. When you think of England and cricket, you think the Lords, and you think of the Oval.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. Lord's is the home of cricket. Mm-hmm. And here I was training every single day, using the facilities, getting proper coaching. And I thought that turned around my career. So I was there in 2003, and 2004 I made my debut for West Indies. So,
can I just go back a little to, when you said originally, because you were Adventist, you said that, it was a difficult thing. I ask because there could be many people who are brought up in a close family and also strength in their religion, and they have a passion that they want to do something, and it's not along the lines that the religion would like them to go. How did you manage to get your family on your side?
Well, I don't know. My mom just got to realize that, it's a God-given talent, and, we were all created by the Almighty. So I remember one day at church asking a lecturer that came to do a seminar with parents and kids, and how they communicate and how parents should encourage the kids. So I stood up and I said, you know, here I am, I'm a cricketer, but I cannot play cricket on Saturdays. So how do I go about using my talent? And we speak at church, you must use your talents. And God has blessed me as a cricketer. How do I go about using that talent, because I cannot play on the Sabbath, you know? And I think finally they gave in. The principal of the Vifort Comprehensive School went to the same church, and you know, every time there was cricket, my name was always in the papers, you know, calling me up front at assembly. And he just said to my mom, you know what, this is what the kid wants to do. You cannot deter him from pursuing his dream. And my mom finally understood. You know, it came with some backlash from some of the church members, because they had offices in the church where I would probably be playing on a Saturday and, you know, they're at church, you know, so that didn't go well with some. But, you know, I believe God has a plan for every one of us. And with me, playing cricket has, you know, impacted on so many lives. You know, young cricketers now in St. Lucia, you know they could make it to the highest level. You know, and not only in cricket, but my story from where I come from could be an inspiration. You know, and I still feel I could be a great testimony for God when I'm finished with this. So I don't think with the passion I have or I had back then, you know, no parent should stop a young child growing up who shows so much passion for a sport or whatever they show passion in. Once it could take you places, you should support that type of drive.
So would you say then that you may consider raising your children in a different way that perhaps our parents used to raise us? Because, you know, our parents used to think, they used to do what they thought was right for us. And we do that. Has that taught you anything in terms of being a father now?
I tell people, when people ask me who are my role models, my mom and dad are the first names I recall. You know, the way they raised me, they taught me something about family, which, you know, I was blessed that I had both parents, and I think that is very, very important, you know, and to grow up and having the backing and the support of your family members, it's very, very important. So I would raise my kids, you know, it's a different era now, but I would raise my kids in a way that, you know, I will support them. I will give them the necessary things they need. If they show interest in something, whether it be sports, you know, I always ask them to take their schoolwork very seriously. I will push it. I will be there with them, you know, and but I will never enforce anything upon it. Like for me, because I'm a cricketer, my son has to play cricket. No, I'm not like that. If he shows the interest, which he has, I support him. I provide what he needs in order to take his skill to another level.
And how many children do you have? What are their names?
I have 3 kids. First one is Darren, named after me.
Is he playing cricket?
Yeah, he plays all types of sports. You know, he's 10. I have Dajan, who's 5, and I have my little princess Sky, who's 2 years old.
I'm worried about Sky. I think you spoil her rotten. From what I've heard, you spoil her rotten. She's a daddy's girl.
Yes, I always hear people say, you know, when you have a girl, it's different. I love all my kids, but you know, something about that little girl, you know, it's just amazing. I think I've spoiled her for true. She gets away with some things, you know, that my first 2 sons don't get away with. But You know, it's all about, I think family is very important.
Yeah, and each family member is important, and each family member has something that is different and unique about them. So thank you for sharing that part of your life with us, Darren. When we come back, I'm going to ask him about how we can be more progressive in our passion. See you soon.